Hello again, and welcome to Football Manager Roleplay, a project where we create a player using the FM pregame editor, give him a potential ability of 200, and see if he will become the greatest American footballer ever. We will simply watch the progression of this player, Henry Marshall, from the age of 15 to hopefully his eventual retirement. This is a world-building exercise where Football Manager provides the events, and we build a story around those events. Let's take a look at Henry Marshall's current slide. We do have some changes since we last saw Henry. He has increased +1 in current rating to 143, and he's earned a few more national team caps. He took part in the CONCACAF Nations League, where the USA finished a disappointing third, but was also invited to the Gold Cup, where the USA has made it to the quarterfinal round. Liverpool rewarded his patience with a salary boost of $4.9 million a year. Training camp has started at Liverpool, but Henry has to finish up in the USA first. So let's move forward. Let's move forward to July 5th, the game against Guadalupe on the Gold Cup quarterfinals. And this was a convincing 3-0 victory at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The U.S. will move on to the semifinals of the Gold Cup against Canada. Now, all of the U.S. goals were scored in the back half, where Malik Tillman, scored in the 67th and 67th minute and 87th minute here. That put it up for USA after a blank first half. And Marshall played 82 minutes of this match and finished with a 6-9 match rating. Where is our good? There he is. 6-9 match rating. Look at some player statistics here. And he had 3 key passes. And he even made a shooting attempt. Let me see if we can find shooting attempts here. Yep, there was one. There was 3 key passes. Nice game, but a lot of other players on the USA squad had better games than Henry did. Let's go back to the timeline here, where we see that on July 7th, Liverpool accepted an offer for Andrew Robinson, and he may end up heading off to Barcelona. And Henry couldn't help but be happy about this because he had often come in to substitute for Robinson more than once in the previous season. And Henry hoped that Stefano Pioli had no one planned to come in to replace Robinson because Henry saw his chances of earning a starter role increase. And furthermore, if we look at the timeline, we'll see that Henry's teammate, Russell John, he has a brand new 5-year contract. He will be earning an astonishing $8.7 million a year, all the way up to 2032. Now, let's take a look at the game on July 8th, the Canada Gold Cup semifinal game. And the result of that game was a 4-2 win at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, which means the USA now advances to play Mexico in the final at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena for a chance at a 4th consecutive Gold Cup. Quinn Sullivan scored in the first minute. But as we can see, Jordan Sebacho, he had a penalty kick in the 11th and another penalty. Both of his run penalty kicks in the 11th and in the 78th minute to help prop the U.S. up for that 4-2 win. Sebacho was named player of the match. Henry Marshall in this game was an unused substitute. After the game, Henry got a message from Stefano Pioli. "Hello, Henry. When will you be back? I cannot wait. Win the Gold Cup and come to Liverpool." The message was in English. Now, Henry didn't know if Pioli had typed it, but it had his name on it. In Liverpool news, defensive midfielder, let's see the name here, Stefan Bajcetic is set for Benfica on a loan deal, and Liverpool begins the friendly part of its season in Austria, and they win that first friendly game against SK Sturm by a score of 3-0. Now let's go on to the Gold Cup final. The Gold Cup final against Mexico on July 11th, and the result is a heartbreaking 0-0 loss that had to be decided on penalty shots after the extra time period. And oh, what a penalty shot result it was. It just seemed to go on forever and ever and ever. There were 26 total penalty shots taken. And after the first 22 shots were taken, including 2 by both goalkeepers, they started all over again. The USA's Jordan Sebacho would be the very first one to miss a shot, and Mexico's Santiago Jimenez would follow through on his shot to win. The 26th penalty shot taken wins the game for Mexico, steals the Gold Cup. Henry Marshall played the entire game. He made his sudden death penalty shot, and he finished the 7.5 match rating, but the football gods were not happy with the U.S., and Henry Marshall heads back to Liverpool. The USA national team will not play again until September in the opening stages of the next Nations League campaign. When Henry flew back, he took his team physical on July 13th. On the 14th, he caught up with Liverpool in Graz, Austria. It was good to be back at the club as the Premier League season started on August 6th, the very first day of any team playing in the Premier League, when Liverpool travels to rival Everton. There'd be a lot to do that month. Henry wouldn't be playing against SK Reed on the 17th, but he did need to get his training in. He chatted for a while after arrival with team captain Declan Rice. Henry needed some advice about golf and wanted to know if Rice would play with him. Rice said that there was generally a foursome that he already played with, but he would certainly help Henry out. He could always ask for advice on his game. Rice felt the situation at Liverpool had stabilized. In his opinion, the owner was stable, and Pioli was doing all the right things. Liverpool was predicted to finish third in the Premier League that season, but Rice said, "We just need to get off to a good start and beat Everton and send a message." At the end of the very first workout, Stefano Pioli called Henry over to chat. "Well, look at you shooting the penalty. Very good. We need it. Robertson, he is in Barca. So, you play on left defense, my plan, okay? You do a good job?" Most 61-year-old men wouldn't try to learn another language at that age, but Pioli was diving in. Marshall was impressed. And if you look at Marshall's personal details, ta-da! Stefano Pioli has joined his group of favorite people. Let's hope it's a happy match. Let's go on to the post-Gold Cup wrap-up. And see if we can find it here. Unbeatable USA set new record, 18 games unbeaten from Monday, June 26, 2023, of basically 4 years ago. That is a brand new Gold Cup record. We'll take a look at some of the awards here for the Gold Cup. We had Leon Bailey of Jamaica. He was the Gold Cup MVP. That award, Golden Boot, Ennis. We have Harrison Vasquez. He is the North American Gold Cup Young MVP. Gold Tournament Best 11. We have 3 USA players there. Among those, Chris Richards, Yunus Musa, and Jordan Sebacho are named to the Gold Cup Best 11. We also have, let's see if we can find it here, Lester's low attentions, Kefren Thuram. He is out of Real Madrid. He has agreed to a deal with Liverpool, so he will be coming to Liverpool. And Andrew Robinson is accepted the Barcelona offer, so he is out. He will be on his way to Barcelona. Let's go ahead to that other friendly game in Austria, July 17th. It's at SV Reed. Now, Henry is not eligible in this game, so we really won't take that close a look at it. And we'll identify Louise. They want Kanade. Third gets his work permit. Get a lot of stuff here. Yes, Europe, Liverpool seal of victory. This is the Kinda Zorgan Arena 3-2 win by Liverpool. He's basically, since he wasn't eligible there, he basically cheered on his youth academy teammates. Kenny Pierman, his old roommate at the Olympic Games, scored a goal. Henry would really like to see Kenny Pierman or even Alex Ditchfield, make the senior team. People that he knows. After this game, Liverpool returned back to the UK for training. The next game is a friendly opener against PSG on the 28th, but it felt good for Henry to be back at AXA. Henry didn't get a chance to even enjoy his first day back in the UK when Russell John showed up to training camp driving the hottest thing on wheels, the 2028 Volkswagen Authority, which is a hyped luxury vehicle. The senior players oohed and ahed over the choice, and all Henry could do about it was snipe to Russell John that, those big wings, he was going to have trouble opening the doors if he ever got caught in a traffic jam. Declan Rice asked Henry, "Hey, Marshy, where's your car?" And one of the players said, "It's that piece of shit car that Marshy always drives." "Hey, Marshy, do they even still make the Ford Edge anymore? That car is older than my girlfriend." "Hey, Marshy, did your mom pick up your car for you?" Now, after that, and the arrival of this car in camp, taking the piss out of Henry Marshall was going to be the training camp sport that year. This was Liverpool. So every player gets turns to be the guy picked out sooner or later. So you have to be able to show that you're a good sport about it. Now, the younger players loved it because Marshall got to be the target and not them. However, one day Declan Rice was talking about his golf game with some of the other players, and he said, "I thought about taking Marshy with me, but since he's learning, but I couldn't bear to be seen in that car." That was it. Now they were dragging his golf into it too. But later that day, Declan Rice chatted with Henry unprompted. "Sorry, mate. I just had to have a go at your car. I couldn't stop myself. That's not the reason I'm not golfing with you. I was just having a laugh." Henry told Declan Rice there was no problem, because there really wasn't a problem. But Henry was determined to get rid of that Ford Edge when no one was looking. So let's go back to the news. The news is going to have all sorts of offers being made for players. You got to remember, this is the July transfer period. So everyone is a possibility for a transfer or a loan. We'll see if we can find it here. Liverpool accepts an offer for Fabio Carvalho. I'm trying to find these values here. Konate rejects a loan. Liverpool announced the new team numbers. Here they are. And Henry Marshall sort of gets a little promotion here. He was at number 35. Now he has been promoted to number 33. Look at Kilman Kelleher. They moved him down to 62. They probably don't think he is really going to be there for that long. Although, Henry Marshall was proud of having the number 33. His pride was sort of deflated when one of his teammates said, Marshy's kit number tells you how fast his car goes. So, anyway, training camp continued, with the next game being at Anfield on July 28th. This was a friendly game against PSG. How did that game turn out? It was a 2-0 win against PSG, with Darwin Nunez scoring goals in the 8th minute and the 11th minute. But the important thing about that game, at least Henry Marshall, was the fact that Henry Marshall wasn't selected for that game. Henry had to kind of worry about that. The Fabio Carvalho did play a few minutes of this game. We're not going to show you any of the details about it. And after that game, he was off to Arsenal. He accepted Arsenal's offer and moved on. The team had an off day after the game against PSG, and while everybody was texting about the transfer on their secret chat app that the Liverpool players all had and talked to each other on, Henry was at the car dealership. But before he met with the salesman, he saw, looking up, keeping an eye on things, that he had been briefly, apparently, moved to the under-21 roster. Now, Henry was certain it was one of those arcane roster manipulations to keep players moving in and out during the preseason, but the thought of it just so unnerved him that he bailed out of his planned new card purchase. The next game was 3 days later. This was a game against Panathinaikos in Greece on August the 1st. How did that game end? See if we can find it here. It is definitely here. Yes, it was a 2-1 victory with new acquisition Kepren Thuram scoring in the 12th minute. New guy, good game for him. Henry Marshall wasn't selected for this game either. And the fact that he hadn't played in either friendly that he was eligible to play in shook him up. I mean, his old mate, Alex Ditchfield from the Youth Academy, he was on that roster. But Henry wasn't there. And Henry was still being listed as an under-21 player. And there was a game the following day at AXA. And Henry hasn't gone to Greece to play this game. Well, Henry dreaded coming into AXA on the second day. And when he showed up, he already had a message waiting for him to go see Barry Ludus, the under-21 coach at Liverpool, a man that Henry was quite well familiar with. Henry, have a seat, Barry told him. Henry, you know I've always been honest with you. Is this conversation what I think it is? Henry said. Am I being moved back to the junior team? Really, Barry? What, you think the club doesn't believe in you? They're not going to give for me and quit a year to a player they don't believe in. They're not putting you on loan. You're not on the option block. This isn't a step backward. Henry was silent. I know, Barry said. You thought you had made it. Shit, I don't know. This might be just for one game. But tell me, Henry, was your game going to progress? Watching Premier League games as a reserve? You want to bitch about your status? Talk to Marcelo Servan. The club put him on fucking loan twice, and they're trying to loan him out now. You got a fucking chance to play. Don't blow it by putting on attitude. We know you're dedicated. We know you're passionate. And this move was made with your success in mind and not to demote you. I don't even know how long we get to have you. Now, you can show everyone what it means to wear a Liverpool kit, or you can wear a sour look on your face all day. If there's something that you think the club's not doing for you, talk to me about it. If you want to bring it up to Pioli, talk to me about it. But in the meantime, work on the aspects of your game that you know need improvement. All right? You think they made a mistake? Fine. Show them in their backyard that they did. I want you to start this game against the Manchester City under-21s today. All right? 1. And here are the results of that game. Liverpool under-21s beat the Man City under-21s 2-1 with Marcelo Servan. He scored both goals in this game. Liverpool had 71% possession. They were never really challenged in this game. A lot of good performances here from Liverpool under-21s, but not from Henry Marshall. Marshall's rating was a 6.6. Aside from Jones's up here, it was probably the worst match rating here. Let's take a look at his player statistics. There is Henry Marshall playing the entire game. His passing was accurate. Had a lot of interceptions. Didn't really impose himself. Dribble, no real key passes here. 6.6. That was it. Marshall quite unhappy about being back, with Liverpool's under-21 squad. Now, Kenny Pierman, who is the captain, you see here, but the captain of the under-21 squad, and a colleague of Henry since their days on the U.S. Olympic team, he was particularly friendly to Henry. He said, I know you're not glad to be here, man. Kenny said, you're a great player, Henry. Just remember that anyone else here in this 11 would trade places with you in a second. You won't be here long. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. And that's the end of this episode. Henry finishes up his Gold Cup play in the USA with a very strange final match, heads back to Liverpool and meets his coach. suffers training camp car envy, and finds himself back at the Liverpool under 21s, if only temporarily. Will Henry make it back to the senior club? We'll try to find out this time. Remember, if you like what you hear or see, please hit the like or subscribe button. Goodbye.